Hey guys, this is Caleb with Black Pearl Media. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, we're going to be going over the pros and cons of a rear mount turbocharging system. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Caleb and I want to welcome you here. I do a lot of automotive content, some side hustle stuff, but this is my Nissan 350Z. It's a 2008 350Z HR, and I've done a lot of modifications to this over the last 5 years, but in 2020 I decided this was the year where I went forced induction. I've always wanted to do a build on this. The only modified or the only turbocharged car that I've had prior to this was a boosted NA Miata, which was a ton of fun, and I said, you know what, the Z's got to get a turbo system at some point. So I decided to go with a rear mount turbocharging system. With that came a lot of questions because it is kind of a unique build, and people wanted to know, hey, what's the pros and the cons of the rear mount? Now, as a disclaimer, I'm not a professional by any means, seeing that this is my first build, but I have had my hands on it quite a bit and did a lot of research beforehand to figure out that's the way I wanted to go. And this doesn't just apply to the Nissan world, this applies to any car that you wanted to do a rear mount turbocharging system on. So hopefully you get some value in this, and if you do, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs, getting there, and I would appreciate that. For all my returning subscribers, welcome, good to see you guys, and let's get into the video. So the first pro for me was the location. I know that sounds kind of weird because it's all the way in the back of the car, that's a long way away from the engine, but I kind of liked that because the 350Z's engine bay is very tight, and to buy a kit, it's very expensive, which we'll get into, and you have to, finagle a lot. It's very tight in there, it gets very hot in the engine bay. So I like the fact that you put it in the rear, you have a lot of room to work with, and you can kind of fit it up the way you want it to. So the first pro would definitely have to be, the space that you have to work with. Pro number 2 would be that because it's in the back and there's so much piping going back and forth, that you're getting actually a lot of natural cooling with the wind that's coming underneath the vehicle. It's naturally cooling those pipes, cooling the air. And there's even some people that don't run intercoolers on a rear mount system. I didn't choose to go that route. I was thinking about, running it long term, going for long drives, or, really beating on it for 20-30 minutes on the track, and just wanted to be extra safe. I don't want to risk that. Pro number 3 is going to be cost. So with a rear mount system, it's a custom system, so you can do it on a budget if you needed to. So you can make it really cheap, you can make it really expensive. I'm like kind of more in the middle to expensive side of things. There are some things I saved some money on, some things I did not cheap out on. I'm gonna make a whole separate video on the overall cost of the kit that I made. And if you're interested in that, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and that's gonna be coming out soon. Actually, I might make it after I record this one, so we'll see what's going on with that. Oh, no, I'm not. Wait a minute. I'm not done with the build yet. I'm not gonna run, no, I will not be doing that. Okay, no, that's not happening, but it will be happening in the future, so subscribe anyways. Pro number 4 is that because there's so many different ways that you can get this accomplished, you can really play around with the creativity in the fabrication. Now, I'm not a fabricator. I have a very good friend of mine that's helping me with the fabrication, and he has been doing some very beautiful work, especially recently. Haven't come up with the next video yet, but the parts that he's upgrading right now are freaking sick. They're works of art, and I can't wait to show them to you guys. But you can be very creative with a rear mount system, and you can be as simple as you want, or you can be a little complex. I'm like right in the middle somewhere, but it is really cool to see it take shape. Pro number 5 has got to be cool factor. I mean, like, it's just very unique. Not many people have rear mount systems. I mean, there's definitely a community of people that have them, but you don't come across them very often, whether you're on the street or I don't think I've ever come across one at a car show, or if I did, I didn't know about it. I think that's just cool in itself. I've always been a little bit unique. I mean, my car's wrapped camouflage, urban camouflage, and I have neon green calipers, so I don't know. I just like the unique stuff. I like stuff to be creative. I'm not very artistic, so I guess my car is a way I express myself. It sounds kind of cheesy. That's cheesy, right? Yeah, that's cheesy. 3, 4, 5, 6. Pro number 6. It's sneaky. You know it's back there. Not everybody knows it's back there, and if they don't know what they're looking for, they could easily miss it. Like I said, I've never seen one at a car show. That doesn't mean I didn't walk right by one that didn't have it. Pro number 7 has got to be the noise. I mean, it sounds like a freaking rocket ship when it flies by you. It sounds really cool spooling when you're in the car. Derek put some resonators in the system because it was so loud. It sounded terrible because it's a 350Z, and like, let's be honest, they're not the best sounding car straight pipe. Matter of fact, they're one of the worst sounding cars straight pipe. But we threw the resonators on. It sounds way better. It sounds insane. Insane. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we talked about the pros and the good. Now we got to talk about the cons and the bad. Honestly, there's not much bad about the system, but I'm going to have to play devil's advocate here, give you a list just so that you guys have as much information as possible. If I miss something or if you disagree, put it in the comments. Con number 1 is definitely going to be turbo lag. Now this is the one that everybody talks about, and it is not as bad as everyone says. When I heard about turbo lag, it made me stop and just like, whoa, hold on, slow down. If I'm gonna do all of these modifications, I don't want a car that's gonna hit boost at like 6,000 RPM. I did more research. People said that there was not that much lag, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. And I'm so glad I did, because it comes on at around 3,600 RPM, 3,600 to 4,000. And when it comes on strong. Yeah, I mean, it's not coming on at, 2,000 RPMs, 2,500 RPMs, but as the charge pipe gets hotter and hotter, it actually comes on sooner and sooner. So there's ways to improve that, but that is a con. That's something to think about. It's not going to be as snappy. I would imagine, remember, I haven't, built a lot of these systems, but I would imagine that you might see a better response from a turbo being right there, just right on top of everything, shorter pipes, shorter distance to get that pressure into the engine, but honestly, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Really not as bad as I thought it was going to be at all. Con number 2 is going to be the material. If you're a handy welder and you can put together, a 3-foot section of pipe and manipulate it where you need it to go, that's fine. But with a rear mount system, you're going to need, 8, 9, 10, 12 foot of pipe, on each side just to get it back and forward, and you have to, figure out how that's gonna go together. Con number 3 is definitely gonna be location of the turbo as well. So that's kind of a two-edged sword. So it's in the back, you get a lot more room, but it is in the back and it's lower. So the first concern I've heard about, or the biggest concern I should say, I've heard from people is, okay, what if you hydrolock your engine, right? What if you're driving and it's rainy and it sucks up a whole bunch of water and boom, it's gone. I saw it as a problem in my mind before I started actually, putting it together. I thought it was gonna be really close to the ground, suck up a ton of water. And I think as long as you're not driving through a lake or a flooded road or something, I don't think there's really going to be any issue. There's some precautions you can take. You can put a rain sock over it, and that pretty much just, deters the little bit of mist that you might get if you're driving day to day. Honestly, guys, I don't care. I'm going to drive it in the rain. I'll drive it in the snow. If it hydrolocks, that needs to be a lot of water to get through the system, because it's got to travel like 8, 9, 10, 12 feet to get back to the engine. And I mean, if it makes there and causes damage, then time for a built motor. Follow the channel, subscribe, hit the bell. You'll see if it blows up. If it is, you'll know. But I haven't seen or heard of anybody hydrolocking their engine yet. I don't think I'm gonna be the first one. If I am, then I'll eat my words. Definitely something to think about though. So if you're not comfortable with that, maybe rear mount's not for you. So that does it for my list of pros and cons. For me, the pros heavily outweighed the cons. The cons weren't as serious as I thought, but this is up to you guys. You know, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that a rear mount system is a good system? Do you think we'll be seeing more of these as the years go on? I'd love to hear about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you on the next video. Thanks. Have a good night.